Is investing an art or science? Or let me put it this way, where does art take over from science in any field, right? So for example, the Tesla car, is it about technology? Yes, of course. So there is definitely science. How good it looks, how does it feel, and how does it make, how do you feel, because the whole environment is talking about eco-friendly cars, etc. That is art, right? Managing the environment and making sure that the government gives you a subsidy, or making people feel good that they made the right choice, right? All that is actually art. Similarly, a good doctor need not be a good, need not have a great practice. Academically, good doctors may not have a good practice simply because of their arrogance, their inability to communicate well. They are losing patience. Patience could lead to losing patients, right? So all those things. So similarly, in financial services, some of the most successful financial let's say product sales people, or whatever you want to call them, or financial advisors, some of the very successful ones don't have too much of product knowledge. This is very difficult to believe, but they have fantastic knowledge of how their client will behave. And then so it could be, so somewhere the art takes over from the science. So whether it is how good the product feels in your hand could be far more important than whether the product is really excellent, right? Yes, the product is good, science is necessary. To build a camera you need a very good you need very good technology, but how the camera feels in your hand, how fast it focuses, all that is science. But how does it feel in your hand? How do you feel happy looking around and seeing it's a good camera and it is working well? That is art, right? Or making sure that it is marketed and advertised well. Well, marketing and advertising is also a lot about science, and then art takes over. Similarly, you talk to fund managers over periods of time, and they would tell you the mistakes which they made. Let's talk about one fund manager pre-COVID, 2017 or 2018, maybe even 2019, I'm not very sure. His fund was not performing well because he had many PSU shares. So I said, your fund is not performing well. He said, yeah, Subra, I bought too much of these Navratna, it's not doing well, so I have to get rid of the PSU. Cut to 2022-23, his performance is excellent, and some of that performance has been got by buying PSU shares, right? So where does the science end? Where does art start? It's very difficult to say in every field, and especially so in the field of investing. How much of which share to hold, which means sizing. Sizing is complete art. Very few people can put a definition of how to do portfolio sizing. They can do industry sizing, they cannot do portfolio sizing. So you say 10% of your portfolio should be technology because 10% of the index is technology, just for example. Whether to buy a large cap or a mid cap or a small cap, assuming you are a flexi cap fund and 10% of your fund has to be in technology, would you buy a Wipro, HCL, TCS, Infosys and say, oh, this is fine, I am 10% in technology, I am in these shares? Or will you buy one Infosys and then you buy one Happiest Mindset, then you buy L&T Information Technology, and you buy Zomato, saying this is application of technology? What combination do you buy and how much of what? So do you buy 1% of your portfolio in Zomato, or do you pick 7% in Zomato and 1% as Infosys, saying Infosys is already value discovered, so I will put more money in Zomato, right? So that becomes art. Whether to buy Zomato or no could be science. They could say, okay, these should be the parameters, they should have market cap, they should have so much of market share, they should be growing fast, they should be adding more businesses which can be using the same infrastructure. All that can be science. But finally, how much weightage and what to do depends on the fund manager at the spot to decide on the weightage. And do you change weightage when prices change? For example, if you bought Zomato at 55 and the price goes up to 100, maybe you had 9% in Zomato, just for example, you had 9% of your portfolio in Zomato. Your inflows are now not much, People are chasing mid cap and small cap, they are not coming to you. You are a flexi cap. You can buy more of Zomato, but Zomato prices have gone up to 100, right? So at 100 it is it's no longer 9% of your portfolio, maybe it is just nudging 11-12%. Then you have no choice, even though then you have to anyway come down. Legally speaking, you should have been selling at every rise, because your corpus has remained not very flexible. Your corpus has not increased much, but if your corpus has increased and you're still just 9% of the portfolio, which means your denominator has also increased. So somewhere between compromising between science and technology and taking a call, fund managers must be finding it really difficult on something as simple as portfolio sizing, or something like not knowing whether you're in a bubble in Tata Power or whether you are in a business cycle of Tata Power. So mixing all that, having all the knowledge about the power sector or about the Tata Group or anything, you think it's a great buy at 270. Then you look at the chart and you say, oh my God, this has moved from 30 to 270 in maybe 24 months, maybe 30 months, whatever. So is it in a bubble or is it in a cycle, right? That question has to be answered. That question again is art. It is very, very difficult to know, because as an interesting exercise, go and see the share price of Amazon and Microsoft over last 15 years. Why am I picking up these shares? Simply because these are technology companies and they are old in the system. Amazon is not really spring chicken, neither is Indigo spring chicken. It is a 17-year-old company. But in Indian context, the history is not long enough. So you pick a long history and ask yourself, at these bottom prices, would you have bought or would you have sold? Would you have panicked? Would you have booked your profit and run away? That is art. That is skill. Saying, okay, I bought in 2008. In 2008, I entered the market. From 2008 to 2023, I have never sold because I've never needed money. All other things were taken care of by my regular income. Therefore, I made money. So knowing that you entered in 2008, which was not perhaps the best time to enter the market, but you entered and you did not panic in 2020, right? That is art. So where does science stop and where does art start in any field is very difficult to say. So because we can't decide how much of investing is science and how much of investing is art, you have to look to experts to find what they have done. When you look to experts about what they have done, it gets worse. Because let's say Samir Arora, Prashant Jain and Naren Shankaran and Anand Radhakrishnan, you give all four of them a balance advantage fund to start with today and say you will be judged only after 20 years. I'm just taking a hypothetical case that you can give them a 20-year time. All four will have completely different styles and all four of them will come with very good returns, right? Let's say they got returns of 17, 18, 19 and 17, or let's say even reduced difference, 17, 17 and a half, 18, 18 and a half. If these are the four results, any combination, the question is, do styles matter, right? So each person has a different style, but all of them have achieved the returns, they've achieved the results. So I have no clue whether Tata Power is today in a bubble or in a cycle, but I am leaving the choice to somebody like a Naren who will make the right choice and buy the right shares, right? So therefore I go to him and say, please manage my money. Or I try to do it myself, and I know what I'm going to struggle with and what I can do. But I can tell you one thing, there are no experts in the short run, and in the long run all these four people are experts. What do you see in them? You see their ability to take decisions, your ability to admit mistakes, the humility to admit mistakes, and then changing their course of action. You change the course of action, you take corrective action, right? So that is what you're looking for in an expert. The expert is a guy who understands that he does not know everything and understands that you need not know everything to be able to buy a share or not buy a share, right? And you understand that these various methods, in all these various, now take an individual investor. an individual investor who bought Wipro and completely forgot about it, did not get it dematted, and suddenly one day somebody says, sir, I think you have some shares in Wipro, and he says, yeah, I have these shares in Wipro. Then he goes, he finds out that everything is dematerialized and recovered from the government, because the government has forfeited these shares, and he finds that it is worth 800 crores, just for argument's sake. Do you think he's very happy paying 200 crores fees for that recovery? I'm not sure. He did not have anything, remember. He had it, but he didn't know it, right? So here somebody goes, wakes him up and says, sir, you have these shares, and this is what it is worth. I did this effort, and I need to get 25%. He'll agree on 25%, but I doubt whether he'll agree on 200 crores, right? So again, convincing the customer becomes art. The science is going and chasing the government and trying to get the money out, right? So everything that you do in life, there is tremendous amount of art and tremendous amount of science. How beautifully you are able to merge. So again, you go to Steve Jobs and say how beautifully he merged, because Apple has technology, but what sells is the art in Apple. Same thing for Tesla cars, right? So same thing for Canon cameras and Nikon cameras. Lot of technology, but art has to make the final pitch, right? So a very good doctor, fantastic skills, needs to have the art of talking to the patients. Same thing for a financial advisor, fantastic knowledge, understands what is happening, has to now develop the art of understanding the investor, saying, will this investor panic, will he not panic, should I need to have a big amount of cash for him or her, or is it okay to invest a lot more, right? You learn about a client slowly and steadily. It's not that overnight you know that, oh, I know all the facts, so all the business will come to me. Not true. Thank you.